Welcome to Point Blank, brought to you by Fitz Roofing. I'm Brandon Strange of Sports Map Houston. That's Joel Blank of ESPN 97.5 and 92.5 in Houston. If you haven't yet, hit subscribe on this channel. We do appreciate it. Joel, welcome in. Following the Giants and then subsequently the Dodgers series that the Astros played, we get to measure them against top-tier teams. And so now we get some answers and we have some more questions. And so let's get to some of those questions because Bregman still out, missing time. We don't know when he'll return, at least as of this recording. Jake Odorizzi scuffled, culminating up to him getting absolutely lit up by the Dodgers in LA. And so what are you more concerned about? Are you more concerned about Bregman's eventual production or lack of production for this team? Or are you more concerned about the state of Jake Odorizzi as a starter on the Astros?
Well, I'm not going to worry about Jake Odorizzi, Brandon, because the only thing that he can do is go back to the drawing board and maybe try and save face between now and the end of September. Otherwise, he's not going to be on the playoff roster. He's not going to factor into what the Astros do, and it's not going to be that big of a deal because they've already proven that their biggest spot in the entire roster is the starting pitching. And whether Urquidy comes back or not in the playoffs, you may only need 4 starters, and you have those 4 starters, and you should be just fine. From the flip side, Alex Bregman has said he's close. On this homestand, he said he's going to play. He played the other night in Sugar Land until rain shortened the game, but his plan was to play 9 innings. He was 1 for 2 with a double. He played the field. He did his running. He says he feels great. It's going to be like a free agent acquisition that wasn't made when Bregman comes back into this lineup. He's the guy that concerns me, but if he tells me he's okay and they're telling us that he's doing the right things and he's playing in games and didn't miss any time after he was yanked from the lineup and shut down because of the hamstring one day, then I feel really good about the fact that the Astros, at a time in their schedule when they get soft opponents and they need to just eat and eat heartily, they're going to also be able to work in a guy like Alex Bregman, get him back in the lineup, get him to feeling comfortable so that when the playoffs come around, he's going to be fresher than he's been in the past, meat of the order lineup guy that's going to play a great third base, give you pop in your lineup, hit for average, and do the things that they need from a leadership perspective. He's the guy that has to be there. Odorizzi, it's a bonus if he's okay, but if he's not, no one's losing any sleep.
I want to get more into Odorizzi, maybe an answer in that deep starting pitching rotation that you were talking about. Before we do that, give us a word from Fitz Roofing.
Well, we love Fitz Roofing. They're dedicated to the people of Houston, Texas, so much so that they do free, no-obligation inspections, and all you got to do is pick up the phone. You call 832-521-3001. They come to you, they tell you what they can do, and it costs you nothing. If you want them to come back, you just reach back out, you make that appointment, and before, during, and after the project is finished, you're going to realize the best customer service and the best results in the business because they have the best ratings, the best products, and the best warranties. Check them out today, fitzroofing.com, or make that appointment, 832-521-3001. Fitz Roofing, making a difference, one home at a time.
So you mentioned the depth in the starting pitching of the Astros, and one of the reasons for that is because in the preseason, the injury to Framber Valdez necessitated the acquisition of Jake Odorizzi. So Jake Odorizzi gets brought on, Framber comes back early, now you've got a good problem, which is a lot of arms. Through that, they sent Christian Javier into the bullpen. And so Javier to this point has been the odd man out. Now adding to kind of the thinness in that starting rotation has been Jose Urquidy going on and off the IL. So you've got 2 guys in Urquidy potentially coming back and Javier potentially coming out of the bullpen into the starting rotation. That could be an answer to fill in for Jake Odorizzi. Which do you see being the more likely scenario as taking the place for Jake Odorizzi in the starting rotation?
I think it's Urquidy unless he has any more setbacks, because at a certain point, you got to cut bait on Urquidy for the season, medically take care of whatever needs to be taken care of because he's too big of a part of your future, and press on for this season. Javier is a guy that they are trying to condition now to get ready sooner, to be able to be ready more multiple days back to back instead of once you use him, you got to use him for multiple innings because you know you're going to lose him for the next several days. I think that Urquidy's a guy that when he's healthy, he's proven he can give you 5-6 innings, he can be effective, and he's really one of your better starting pitchers. That's the way I would look at it, and that's the way I would separate things out, because as they move forward, the one thing that they weren't expecting, Brandon, for all the things that you said, all year long, it was either going to be Greinke or Framber that was going to be your ace going into the playoffs. The way Lance McCullers has pitched recently, and the fact that on the season he has 7 road wins, and the way that he went about Dodger Stadium in a hostile environment like they're going to face in the playoffs this season, he's almost led me to believe he's your ace on day 1 of the playoffs if it starts tomorrow because of how good he's pitched, and that's unexpected. So now when you have McCullers and Greinke Greinke, and Fromber, you're already in a really good position. Then whether it's Luis Garcia or if it's Urquidy or if it's Odorizzi or if it's Javier, it's a good problem to have. You only need one of those guys to step up. The rest of them either in the bullpen or left off the roster, but they're still around if you need a replacement later on. That's how good this pitching staff became when James Click made the moves he made to bolster the bullpen, and what a luxury they now have in terms of how many starting pitchers.
Joel, so we started this video talking about Odorizzi and Bregman. Let's get back to Bregman, because Bregman has missed so much this year and was scuffling, honestly, prior to going on the IL. He was not the Bregman that we were used to seeing, being confident at the plate and being able to master that strike zone. Is Bregman coming back and being productive this season an unrealistic expectation given the amount of time that he's missed?
No, absolutely not, Brandon. He's dealt with so many injuries over the past year and a half to 2 years, multiple leg injuries, which slowed him down. He was dinged up, and that had a large portion of the reasoning behind why he was struggling at the plate. He's going to be refreshed. He's going to be ready to go. He's not going to be like some of these other guys playing all these innings, searching for a day off, trying to at least muster up enough to be able to be effective in the playoffs. That's not going to be Alex Bregman. He's going to be the freshest guy on the roster. He's going to be the guy that wants to get out there every day and attack, and that's what you need in the middle of your lineup. That's the kind of guy that you want heading up whatever you do offensively and defensively in the playoffs. We already know he's a feisty leader, and he's one of the guys that brings energy to the ball club, but if he's well rested and he's healthy, he's going to bring it that much more, and it's going to lift everybody around him up as well. In a year where they can validate and vindicate so much by winning the World Series, the key to all of this could be a healthy Alex Bregman getting back to his regular form in the middle of this lineup.